All right, so we do show we have a full quorum tonight to make any motions. Okay, and item 1.3, if we can just have a motion to continue the minutes.
Motion to continue minutes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, and then before we get started, I just want to let you know in our work meeting, we did elect a new chair and a vice chair. And I was the lucky one to be nominated as the chair, and Chris will be our vice chair. Okay, item number 2. This is a request for a conditional use permit for a Czech City retail location. Bryn. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll get it. All right, this is the, again, a conditional use for a Czech City location. This is on 13400 South in the, as part of the town center. There we go. So again, this is in a building that we approved and was built last year. There's four tenant spaces in this building. They would just be taking up one of the units. As we talked about, the check cashing business was a conditional use in the previous ordinance, and they submitted under the previous ordinance. So that's why you're seeing this. There's really not too many conditions to put on it. Again, the parking is already there. The lot has been established. The building has been established. Is just a conditional use, so you have to review it. And these are the buildings and the renderings. We are not approving any signs at this point. That's just to show you what it would look like. And again, their proposed sign. The sign, I believe, is actually already there, so it's for all 4 tenants in the building. So again, just a conditional use for check cashing on the existing building.
So we're not approving the signs on the front.
You're not
and
approving
back?
the signs. Oh. And in fact, that's one of your requirements on there, is that no signs are approved. They'd have to come back.
And just to clarify, that includes the signs on the building?
The signs on the building are permitted uses, so as long as they meet the ordinance, you don't see those signs back. They would just get a building permit.
Okay.
And the other sign is already approved.
The other sign, the monument sign,
It's already there.
is already there.
Yeah.
We've already approved that one.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I've
Any
got.
other questions for Bryn? Okay, all right. If the applicant is here, if you can please come and state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Rawl, and I'm here representing Czech City.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Is there anything else that you would like us to be aware of that Bryn didn't touch on?
I don't think so. Craig's been great to work with through this process. This particular sign, the developer has approved it as well as the landlord. And of course, we'll have to get a permit with the city and have it go through your process, but the development has approved it. One question I had is on the staff report, it talked about landscaping, that it needs to meet. My understanding, talking to the landlord, is that all that was approved with the initial building.
Yeah, it was all done with the
Right.
original building, so you wouldn't likely have anything additional.
Okay, great. Is there any questions that anybody has for me?
Actually, what would the hours be? Do you know, the hours of service?
You know, probably in the neighborhood of 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., you know, maybe 10 p.m.
Okay.
We have varying hours, but it won't be real late. Start either at 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock, probably, and around 8 or 9 at night, something like that.
And that's Sunday through Saturday, or do you know?
You know, I don't know yet.
Okay.
We have some stores open on Sunday and many not.
Okay.
And so we haven't set that yet.
Thank you. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't.
All right. Can go ahead and take a seat
Okay.
for a moment. And
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Anybody's ready to make a motion, or if you want to?
It's in our ordinance, so it was grandfathered in our ordinance, so I'll make a motion to approve item 2.1 with staff's 3 recommendations.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Adam, second by Curtis. Hey, Curtis?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
And Andrea?
Yes.
Okay, and that motion passes. All right, thank you. All right, item 2.2, an exception to a single-family design standards. Bryn?
All right. As you know, we have single-family design criteria in the ordinance that all single-family homes have to comply with. The specific requirement we're looking at here is the requirement for 40% brick or stone on the front and then all visible sides of the house, so if it's like a corner lot. They are asking for an exception to that standard, which the ordinance allows you to do if they have compensating design features, you know, and we've approved a couple of these for some unique homes. So this is the rendering, and again, what they're looking at here. So it's basically all a Hardie product, I think, from what they're showing. And there's the colored rendering. So again, they're just here for an exception to the brick or stone requirement. And that's for you to decide. If they have, you know, enough compensating design features to grant the exception.
This is not a corner lot. It's not a corner lot, is it?
No.
It doesn't look like
It actually, this one is a corner lot. It actually sits on the corner of, we just did the subdivision last year. It's actually on the corner of Gina, and then they have a private road up this side.
Okay.
If you remember that,
It's
yeah.
a corner because of that, but it's
Because
not
of that.
It's not a major,
No,
it's just a private lane.
it's just a private lane, yeah.
Okay.
And it faces the private lane. The side would be towards Gina Road. Their driveway's not onto Gina.
So which side is on the rendering, show me which side
So
is
on the rendering, this side
off of
faces
Gina.
west,
So that faces the private, and what side is the side that
and then
faces
this would be
s-
the Gina Road side on this side, on the right side.
Can you just go back to the blueprint?
That one.
So do you see this side?
This side
Oh,
would be the Gina
are
Road
you
side.
are you the applicant?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind coming up and just talking to the mic?
So the side will be,
Tell them your name, Zach.
Yes.
yeah, I'm Zach Gordon. I'm the one building this house. So the side where there's like the two pop outs on the side, the bigger area that's popped out will be a black color. And then the little area that's popped out with the square window will be it's called tiger wood. So is the material that's being used there on that, and then on those front areas where you see the colored rendering. So the rest of the house is done with James Hardie, which is 50-year structural concrete mason, like it's the 8-inch stuff. It's a contemporary prairie style home. This style home is really popular back east because it holds up to climates really well. When they build these style of homes back here, they stucco most of them. I don't want to do stucco because stucco is not very good in our environment. It cracks after a few years. So I'd like to do a smooth Hardie board on the whole house. I mean, you can't really see either, but there's a lot of other design elements. Like there's corbels all underneath the roofs. The rendering doesn't show up, but there's corbels under the roofs, and there's the arbors over the garage, and the garage doors actually have windows all the way from the top all the way down. So there's a ton of design into the house.
What do you have on the side that's seeing the street, though?
So the side that's seeing the street will have, you see how the big garage is that black color?
Yeah.
So the bigger pop out of it will be black, and then there'll be wood between, and then all the windows are all black composite
pop out
windows. Yeah, so some of it will be
here.
black, and then some of it will be wood, and there'll be corbels on all of it. And there'll be corbels on the back of the house, and there's some wood posts on the back of the house too.
Are you planning on fencing in your backyard as well?
Yeah, so the side, when my landscape design it's not on here, but it has, the fence will go basically as far forward as I can take it, and then the whole yard is all fenced.
So it's pretty much it won't be visible. So
Yeah, a
much
lot
with
of
the
it won't
fence.
be visible. Most of it was probably just the front of the house when you're traveling east on Gina Road. And I am building, I mean, this is like a $700,000-$800,000 house that I'm building next door is people that live in a chicken coop. So I think personally, like, I'm bringing the neighborhood up, if anything. So, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so it's, I mean, it's really awesome material. I work for a builder, and we use this material on homes all the time, and it just lasts forever. With stone or brick, you're gonna get like gaps in the mortar where bees make nests and all kinds of stuff like that. And so I just wanna build a really low maintenance home that I'm not gonna have problems with in the future. It's kind of my forever house.
And the wood on the side facing Gina Road, it's that same wood that
Yeah,
we
so
see
it'll
on
be
the
the
entry?
same, right? So same similar design will go to the side.
It'll have some of this
Yeah,
wood
so
looking
yeah,
in the
on the
dark.
one pop out where the one window is, we'll have the tiger wood, and then it will be black on the sides of that, and then it will be the cream-ish. And there'll be the corbels that you guys can't really see unless you had a blown up picture, but there'll be the corbels on all of them.
You gonna do the pergola thing above anything on that side as well, or?
There'll be a pergola in the back of the house off the master, but that's not shown on the drawing.
Are you talking about above the
The little,
garage?
the little pieces above the garage is what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's the back of the house, that little tiny ones. Oh, the arbors?
Yeah, little arbors.
Yeah, those will be the same wood as the rest. What was
But you're
your
not doing
question?
anything on the other side by Gina?
No, I mean, I haven't, no, because there's those transom windows, I don't know how big of a thick of an arbor I can fit where those because where it's black is where those transom windows are. So do you see, go back. So there's a little
Oh, yeah.
transom window. Go back to the actual
I see.
side elevation, Bryn. One more. So right where that pop out is, there's two transom windows. That's where it's black, and then where the 14040 window, that's where it's wood.
Gotcha.
So, and then yeah, on the back of the house, there'll be, there, if you see that little tiny one on the back, there's two more wood posts like that as well, so.
But you're saying the fence would probably,
There's gonna be,
Yeah,
Side
but the
of the house
fence
right
is,
here.
I mean, the fence will go as far, I'm just gonna have to, isn't it like 30 feet back from a corner for visibility? So yeah, so it'll pretty much be at the,
Almost the whole side of the house.
yeah, it's gonna be the whole side of the house, it's gonna be in backyard, so.
What kind of a finish does this wood have?
The tiger wood?
Tiger wood?
So the tiger wood, it kind of looks like the picture. It's kind of like a natural cedar type material. So it looks like real natural wood, but it's like the densest wood you can buy. It's like you could stick it outside in weather forever and you never have to finish it or anything like that. And underneath that wood as well is going to be, I'm going to do hardy board. It's going to be like flat hardy board, like you've seen board and batten. It's going to be flat pieces of hardy board, and then
You're gonna
the
frame
wood.
behind it basically with.
Yeah, I'm gonna
the-
frame behind it with hardy board, and then the wood's just more or less just for looks, and it will be vertical tiger wood going up and down. I'm just using the tiger wood product because it's a wood that you never have to stain, you never have to seal it, you never have to do anything. It's just super hard.
What is it built, I mean, what size planks is the tiger wood? Is it
It's
like a
eight-
veneer
it's
or is it
8 inch.
a solid two
I
by
thi-
8?
It's 1x8 material.
Like tongue and groove or just?
No, it's just,
butt-
yeah, it'll just
That's why
butt
you're
up
gonna
next to
do
each other.
cement board.
Yeah, that's
behind
why cement board will be behind it, yeah.
So you're saying it doesn't age?
Yeah, it doesn't age.
Because cedar can be subject to the elements.
Oh, yeah,
And
so
it changes.
Oh yeah, cedar grays and changes colors. I like the look of cedar, but I don't like the maintenance of cedar. So that's why I'll use the tiger wood material. But also, I mean, the wood is totally just for an aesthetic purpose. It's not like it does have the hardy board behind it, so. And it's gonna match in the core, it's gonna just tie in the whole design with the corbels, because they'll all be made out of the same stuff, and the arbor, and it'll all just be made out of the same material. So it ties in the whole thing.
Where's tiger wood from?
I don't know, the
I've never
people,
heard of
it's mostly, the big manufacturers are up in Washington, or where most of the mills are that mill it out, so.
it's from Western Africa.
There you go,
in case
but
you're wondering.
a lot of the places, yeah, most of the places you buy it from. now
Western
are-
Africa?
It's
I was
really
gonna say,
pretty.
it sounds very,
There you
I was
go.
gonna say, yeah.
I dabble in woodworking, so that's why I was curious.
Yeah, we used it on a parade home last year. We won best exterior for the parade. It was parade home #1 up in Salt Lake City. And it was a huge hit, huge success. So it's really good material.
I like what you're trying to do. My issue is I don't know that it's enough for me to deviate from our standards. So I'm just trying to think of what I would say beyond that. So I don't know how everybody else feels, but that's just my opinion.
That's where I'm at too.
I think it looks great. Don't get me wrong. I just think it needs a little bit more to give us the rationale.
Not necessarily brick, but just
A bit
something
more
more.
something, and I don't know, like I said,
Yeah,
I don't know what to say it is, but
Yeah.
because we're deviating from the standard, I think what you're providing is a good product. I'm more trying to rationalize what someone else in the future may use as this is the reason for deviating, and so I think we need to have enough.
Well, I mean, the
Precedent
the
like
windows
good
alone that are going, the black windows alone that are going in this home, they're black structural designed windows.
Well,
Those
then
windows
that's fine.
alone are more money than it would cost to stone the whole front of this house. So, I mean, I can make the house
Okay.
cheaper in some areas and put stone on the front, but that's just not the design that I'm going for, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm trying to save money by doing this.
And I don't think you are. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to say you're kind of establishing a precedent if we
I
deviate.
understand.
And that's why I keep asking a lot from the Gina Road perspective, and there's just not that much from the Gina Road
get you.
perspective. I get the fence, but
And
like
to
it.
me, and I don't know about Curtis, but to me, having it fenced in to where it's not even visible on the Gina Road, and then it's a private lane, and it's a nice looking home beside that. But I actually, which I rarely want to deviate from it, I think those two things are enough for me in this case.
So, and I would add to that, so compensating factors, which is what we can consider in granting a approval would be, for me, it's the wood treatment, I think, looks great, and the windows on the garage is another compensating factor in addition to the fence. But
It's really hard to get these renderings like on too. Like the windows that go on the garage are almost like half the size of the garage, but the rendering guys in South Carolina and I'm here and I can only get them to do so much of what my actual vision is. So I think the house will turn out a lot better than actually this too. There's actually, over the front door, you can see that there's a lot of space right there. He actually left off a big transom black window that's going right there and some other stuff like that's gonna end up happening on the house itself. But like I said, I mean, working with, and Bryn, I turned this in.
I know.
And I had to get her the rendering in 24 hours to have it here for this meeting.
They gotta see
So
a
like,
picture.
it was like extremely tough.
no, that makes sense.
And-
I'm just saying, whatever we do, we need to make it in the motion.
Make a very
This is
clear motion,
why.
yeah.
I'm not saying even I would say no right now. I'm trying to think like your black window treatment might even be one that we need to say because of the additional this and the additional this. That is why.
Yeah, and I feel
That's
comfortable.
more what I'm trying to say, and the fence
Yeah.
The
is
pergola
also
garage.
another reason.
Yes.
On the private road.
Yep.
Really do
And the
like
fact
those
that it
black.
faces
I think it's a
railroad.
great looking house. Don't get me wrong. I think you're doing a great job. I'm just trying to think of how to say it.
I understand.
Those black windows just really set it off too.
They're pretty cool. They're not even vinyl. They're like a fiberglass composite window. They're
What is
super,
it
super
called?
cool.
Fiberglass. Like it does have a special name.
The
for those type
window
of windows.
is a fiberglass composite window made by Anderson's, the only company that makes them. So they're like 3 times the cost of a normal window, but my wife has to have them, so.
That is on the record.
Yeah. I should have made her come and do this. Is what I should have done.
She wants the windows. you
Should have
make
been
her do it.
crying and been like, "This is."
I don't have any more questions for the applicant.
Okay.
Do you have any?
Do you have any more questions for applicant?
I don't.
I don't have any more for him.
If you want to go ahead and you can take a seat and
All right, thank you.
thank you.
I can make a motion unless you guys have more to talk about.
No.
Chris, before you do that, are you moving to approve or?
We'll find out.
Yeah, we just gotta wait and see.
So I'm going to make a motion to approve based on, because it does deviate from our normal, the increased use of the fiberglass composite windows, the private lane that it faces, the fence that actually surrounds the side of the building, which is the side of the home that is actually the part of the home that faces the main road. And also the use of the wood elements, and then we do know that the hardy board that you're using is a good product. I don't typically do this, but I think a lot of the products and what you guys are accomplishing and where it's located allows me to do that. So I motion to approve, and this is 2.2. C2018-02.
So
Can we-
motion approved by Chris.
I kind of want to add one more. I like all that, but there's one more compensating factor for me, and that's the windows on the garage.
I just said windows in general, referencing garage too, that's fine.
I think that we should put that in the conditions because
Doesn't hurt, yeah.
just make sure that gets in there.
Well, I expect it to look as good as this rendering, if not better. How about that? So,
They're gonna be driving by, Zach, watching, so, yeah.
So does Christine add that to the motion? or
I don't
can we
think I need to
that?
add
Okay.
anything.
Then I will second.
Okay, second by Curtis.
I got it.
All right, Andrea,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Robin,
No.
Adam,
Yes.
and Curtis.
Yes.
Okay, and that motion passes. Okay,
Okay.
right, we are on item 3, legislative items. A request for a text change to remove storage units from C2 zone in chapter 16 of the Land Development Code. Bryn.
All right, so if you remember, we adopted an entirely new land use code in December, and there was a couple things that we just need to clean up now, that we found as we go through. So this is the first one. Several years ago, we removed storage units from the C2 zone. And in this change, it was just overlooked and it was added as a conditional use in C2. So this change is to remove the self-storage, specifically the storage units from C2. And there's another one. And then removes RV storage also from C2. And then add RV storage to M1 as a conditional use.
And this is recommendation, right?
This is a recommendation to the council, yeah. So this is a public hearing and then recommendation to the council. Any questions on what we're changing? So it's the storage units and then the RV storage as well.
Bryn, before we open it up. All right, so as Bryn mentioned, this is a public hearing. Just let me go over a few things. On this, I'm trying to remember how many minutes we give. Was it 3?
3 and
So
5.
On the very bottom, yeah,
yes,
3
thank
minutes.
you. I need new glasses. So we will allow up to 3 minutes to address the commission. If you are recognized as representing a group in attendance, you may be up to 5 minutes. If you will please fill out a comment card in the very rear of the room and then hand those in to us. We will go ahead. If there's anybody here to comment on this item, feel free and make sure to state your name. We will go ahead and close the public hearing. Okay. Anybody like to? Any questions on this one?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Makes sense to me.
If anybody would like to make a motion.
Do you want, so on the bottom of this, there's,
I can.
this is probably nitpicky, but the notes on the bottom, 11 and 12, were struck out 11. So then it would go 8, 9, 10, 12. Do we?
Yeah, when we codify.
That'll get handled then? Okay. Sorry, that was.
Good catch.
Caught us, yeah.
I'm ready to make a motion for me.
Okay.
So
Go ahead, Adam.
I move to recommend approval to the city council of the item 3.1.
Second.
Motion by Adam, second by Andrea. Andrea?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
And Curtis.
Yes.
All right. And that motion is approved for recommendation to the city council. Okay. Item 4. Any comments anybody would like to talk about this time?
I'd like to express appreciation to our new chair and vice chair for their willingness to serve.
Agreed.
Thank you. I will get better over time. All right, future meetings. We have city council on Wednesday, January 24th at 7 p.m. and planning commission on February 1st at 7 p.m. All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is that Curtis?
Yes.
All right.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.
Are there more of these, or was this it?
We like those occasionally.
And then they want us to look through these to see which
I know.
ones
We
we
are
feel like should be permitted.
Knowing me, I planned on breaking that thing.
So if there's any of these that we feel like
I just thought that we had a bigger list than
Oh my goodness.
if we go through these and then see some that we feel like might need to be added, probably say, would we consider adding these to the prohibited uses?
We're gonna make the chicken coop next door look